Today's date is July 25th. We're here in Troutdale, Oregon. I'm Jacob,
My name is Bang.
and we're here today with
Chuck Rollins.
Chuck. Would you tell us your story?
Um, Approximately 4 years ago, I was applying for Medicare, and you have to have a physical. And when I went in for the physical, the doctor thought that I may have prostate cancer, so he wanted me to do a blood test and then see a urologist and have him do the test to see if I did have it. To be honest, I was very reluctant to start with because I felt fine. I'm very active, and I had no effects. I didn't feel any pain. Everything seemed just fine. So I told him that I really didn't want to go through with it, and he said, "Let's do the blood test. Let's get your numbers, and then let's talk." So 3 months later, we had another test, and my numbers had gone up, not much, but they were extremely high. And his words to me was, just how it so happens, my doctor happened to have been one of my best friends in high school. And he said, "I already lost one friend to prostate cancer. I don't want to lose another one." So that inspired me to go have the test done. And when they did the test, it came back that I did have prostate cancer, and it was at the point that prostate had to be removed. And so, which was kind of a shock. You go through life thinking you're healthy, and all of a sudden you have cancer. So I dealt with that and went in and had the surgery, and they removed the prostate, but unfortunately for me, I waited too long and it had spread to my lymph nodes. And so during the process, they also took out some of the lymph nodes, but not all of them because they didn't detect cancer in them. And then afterwards, I had radiation, which was 35 doses. And then they put me on a chemical called luprin, which is a hormone that kept the cancer in bay. So a year afterwards, I was cancer free. And then 2 years later, in December of this last year, my PSA started going up again, and they've determined that the cancer's back.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me my options was to go back in and get retested to find out where it is, or to go back on the luprin. And at the time, I decided I would just go on the luprin. And since then, my life's changed a little bit, and I've decided that I'd rather be tested to find out exactly where it is, and if they can treat it, I'd rather get rid of it than just live with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so as of today, that's been my plan. Now, they did inform me that if it's in the same area where I was tested before, that they couldn't do radiation, but I could go back on the luprin.
Mm-hmm.
And so my goal for now is to get tested, see where it is, make sure it's not in the bone, and then move forward from there.
What was your reaction the very first time?
It was a major surprise, and it was also made me look at life in a whole new way.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to throw in a little story because it kind of goes
Sure.
with the spirituality of dealing with what had to deal with. But many years ago, I took some kids on a field trip, and we talked some history, and there was this young girl. Every time I took the kids on a trip, I'd give them a rock. And there was this young girl that had lost her grandfather. And so she was on the trip, and she was very heartbroken. So I gave her a rock, and I told her this was my favorite rock. And she just cheered her right up. And so the day I got to, well, 2 years after that, she died of a heart attack, a young girl. So when I got the word that I had cancer, I was driving by her house, which is just up the road, and I looked up in the sky, and it was the most beautiful sunset. I was very depressed. I decided to stop and take a look at it. And I'm not pulling any strings here, but when I looked up at the clouds and this beautiful colors, her face was in the clouds. And I got this message that you're going to be okay. So I went from being totally depressed to having this, whatever you want to call it, a vision, or maybe I just made it up in my head, but it was very comforting. And from that day on, I've been able to deal with it knowing that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And with the medicine and the treatments they have out there, prostate cancer is curable. My advice to people is simply this: listen to your doctors. When they make recommendations, ask the questions, but follow through on them so you don't have to deal with something that was treatable. But in my case, I made it worse because I waited too long. So I would urge people to move forward as soon as you get the word that you have issues, deal with it.
Mhm. You mentioned spirituality as one of the things that helped to get you through it. I'm wondering what other sort of support mechanisms did you rely on?
Well, I have a very good friend who is a medicine chief for the Wasco Nation,
Oh,
and I talked with him a lot, and he made me some herbal teas to use, which were very calming. And I can't tell you if they helped or not, but just listening to him talk and having him take the interest in me, also it inspired me to get better. And then I met this wonderful lady right here, and she's also inspired me to move forward and step up and do what you need to do to take care of the issues. And so again, I would encourage people that don't wait, don't think I'm too healthy, it's not going to get me, because it that's what I thought, and it did. So I'm very thankful for the people that came to me during these times, because it really helped me through it.
Hearing about that you had cancer, how did that change your perspective on life, currently to today as well?
I make the most of every day. I don't waste time. I don't sit around and worry about it. You think about it, but I move forward every day in trying to accomplish something. And I also try to fill my body with the right nutrients,
Hmm.
the right food, and the spirituality helped me. And I'd have to say that that was two of the factors that helped. But also all the friends that came to you and said, you're going to be okay. Because I'm an ex-Marine, I was a logger, I thought I was tough as nails. And this brought me back down to the real world that you may be tough as nails, but cancer can get anybody. And so I enjoy life now. The little things mean so much that we take for granted, like sitting here talking with you guys, having this nice breeze, and with all these people. It's just very fulfills the heart, or just makes you feel good inside. And those things inspired me that I want to live. I have too much more in life that I want to accomplish. And so, but when I first got the news, it took the wind right out of my sails. But it made you look inside and reevaluate yourself on what you're looking to get out of life. And all of a sudden, they gave me 1 year to live if I did nothing. Well, I wanted more than 1 year. And so now I'm looking at my life as a lifetime. I'm hoping to get another 20 at least. And so stuff like that inspires you, and it gives you the power. And I think it helps the mind and the body to fight the issues that you have to deal with. And so I'm a very fortunate man to be able to have the friends and the people around me that's helped me through this.